Help me hit 1,000 subscribers, support the video with a like and share your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone, thank you. I wasn't supposed to come home for lunch that day. My schedule almost never allowed it. But something about the morning felt off, an unease I couldn't name, a quiet pressure behind the ribs as if my instincts were whispering something my mind couldn't hear. I drove home early anyway. The house looked exactly as it always did, quiet, calm, sunlight falling through the curtains in soft gold strips. Nothing unusual. Nothing suspicious. And yet, the moment I stepped inside, the air carried a faint echo of something wrong. A sound. A breath. A muffled laugh. And then, unmistakably, a voice that wasn't mine. I froze. I walked down the hallway slowly, every step heavy, my pulse thudding in my throat. The bathroom door was half closed, steam sliding out through the crack. I heard water moving, then a man's low whisper, followed by my wife's soft laugh, the kind she hadn't given me in months. I pushed the door open. There they were. My wife, Elara. And our neighbor, Damon. Together in the bathtub, wrapped in warm water and careless betrayal. Elara gasped, covering herself with trembling hands. Damon's smirk faltered for a moment, but only a moment, just long enough for me to see the arrogance beneath it. The confidence of someone who believed I would do nothing. Someone who thought betrayal was a game. I didn't yell. Didn't break. Didn't crumble. I simply stepped back, closed the bathroom door quietly, and locked it, from the outside. Their shock slid into panic, but the lock clicked before either could move. I walked to the kitchen, my heartbeat steadier now, almost unnervingly calm. I picked up my phone. And I called her, Damon's wife. Her name was Marilyn, a gentle woman with soft eyes and a shy way of speaking, the kind of person who still believed in the goodness of people even when life hadn't given her much reason to. We had spoken politely over the years, exchanging neighborly smiles, holiday small talk, the occasional borrowed tool or recipe. She trusted her husband. She believed he loved her still. She deserved the truth. She answered on the second ring. Hello? Marilyn, I said, keeping my voice steady, I need you to come to my house. Right now. A pause. Confusion. Concern. Is everything okay? There's something you need to see. I didn't explain. Didn't soften it. Didn't prepare her. She just whispered, I'll be right there, and hung up. The minutes stretched like hours as I waited. Behind the locked door, I heard frantic whispers, muffled arguments, splashing water, the sudden shuffling of bodies trying to escape a truth they'd been caught in. I didn't open the door. I didn't speak to them. I didn't even look in their direction. I just waited for the one person who deserved to see what I'd seen. Then finally, 3 knocks. I opened the front door, and there Marilyn stood, her face pale, worry etched into her features. Where's my husband? She asked, her voice quivering. I didn't answer with words. I simply gestured down the hallway. Her steps were unsure at first, hesitant, a woman trying to convince herself she was overreacting, that the worst possibilities in her mind were impossible. But the closer she got, the more her breathing sped up. She heard voices, familiar voices, behind the locked door. What's going on? She whispered, her hand trembling as she touched the bathroom knob. Why is it locked? I stepped beside her. You should see for yourself. I unlocked the door and stepped back, letting her open it. The steam rushed out like a cloud of truth, and within it, her world shattered. The moment her eyes fell on her husband, on Elara, in that same tub, the sound she made was not a scream, not a cry, but something deeper, something pulled from a place inside her that still believed in love, trust, and shared vows. Damon's face drained of confidence. Elara's eyes filled with frantic guilt. And Marilyn stood frozen, one hand against the doorframe, her breath breaking apart in thin, fragile gasps. When she finally spoke, her voice wasn't loud, it was heartbreakingly soft. How long? She whispered. How long have you been betraying me? Silence filled the room like thick smoke. Alara began to stammer excuses. Damon tried to speak over her. The chaos of their guilt clashed in the air, but Marilyn didn't seem to hear any of it. Her eyes were glassy, distant, fixed on something far beyond the bathtub, on every memory, every sacrifice, every moment she believed she was loved. And then, slowly, her gaze lifted to me. A single question lingered unspoken on her trembling lips, the one question that would change everything. What now? Marilyn's question hung in the air like smoke, heavy, disorienting, impossible to escape. What now? I didn't have an answer yet. But I knew one thing: neither of us deserved to face this alone. Damon climbed out of the tub in a scrambling mess of wet skin and panic, grabbing a towel like it could somehow hide the truth. Alara followed, her face streaked with water and shame. Marilyn, sweetheart, it's not what it looks like, Damon stuttered. She looked at him with a strange calmness, too calm, the kind of calm that comes when a person has broken past the point of tears. Do you know, she whispered, I baked you bread this morning? Fresh. Because you said you missed the smell of home. Damon swallowed hard. He had no reply. My wife stepped forward, her voice shaking. Marilyn, please. I'm so sorry. It just happened. We never meant to hurt you. Marilyn turned to her with eyes sharp enough to cut through pretense. You didn't mean to, she echoed. People don't fall into betrayal like they fall into puddles. You chose this. Alara's face collapsed under the weight of that truth. For the first time since I'd opened that door, she seemed fully aware of what she had destroyed. The room fell silent again, 4 people, 1 tiny bathroom, and the ruins of 2 marriages hanging between us. I stepped out into the hallway, trying to breathe. Marilyn followed, leaving Damon and Alara behind with their guilt. She leaned against the wall, closing her eyes. How long have you known? I didn't, I said quietly. Not until today. She nodded slowly, absorbing that. I used to think Damon looked at me like I was his whole world, she whispered. But lately, he looked elsewhere. I just didn't want to see it. A broken laugh slipped out. Guess I know where he was looking. I gently asked, do you want to go home? I can drive you, or call someone. No, she straightened, something fragile but determined growing in her posture. We're going back in there. Together. We stepped into the bathroom again. This time, it wasn't chaos, it was confrontation. Damon was pacing. Alara was hunched over the sink, hands shaking as she clutched a towel to her chest. Marilyn faced them like someone who had finally found her voice. You lied to me, she said to her husband. But worse, you made me question myself. You made me think I wasn't enough. Damon shook his head desperately. No, Marilyn, you're everything. She was a mistake. Alara flinched. I wondered whether the truth hurt her or the word mistake did. But Marilyn just whispered, a mistake is forgetting an anniversary or missing a call. You didn't mistake your way into someone else's bathtub. Then she turned, looking at me with something like apology etched in her features. You didn't deserve this either. No, I said. Neither did you. Alara tried to reach for me. Can we talk? Alone? Please, let's fix this. Her voice carried panic, not love, not remorse, just fear of losing something she assumed would always be there. I stepped back from her touch. There's nothing to fix, I said. You decided that when you let someone else into our life. Her face crumpled. I was lonely. So was I said. But I fought for us. You didn't. The truth landed heavily. Damon looked away, unable to meet anyone's gaze. Marilyn exhaled shakily, then faced her husband one last time. I'm done, she whispered. I don't know what my life will look like tomorrow, or next week, or next year. But I know it won't have you in it. Damon opened his mouth to beg, she raised her hand, silencing him. Then she turned to me. Let's leave, she said softly. I nodded. We walked out together, leaving the door open behind us. The air in the hallway felt cooler, cleaner, as if stepping away from that room freed us both from something toxic. At the front door, Marilyn paused. I never imagined my life unraveling like this. I didn't either, I admitted. But sometimes, truth saves us even when it hurts. Her eyes met mine, tired, red, but steady. Thank you for calling me. Most people wouldn't. You deserve to know, I said. She gave a small, sad smile. Maybe someday we'll both look back and realize this was the moment we started healing. Maybe she was right. She walked down the front steps, her shoulders straighter than when she'd arrived. I watched her go, feeling the quiet ache of everything I'd lost, and the strange, unexpected relief of everything I'd finally seen clearly. Behind me, in the house that no longer felt like mine, two people scrambled to explain, to excuse, to rebuild the lies they'd built together. But that wasn't my world anymore. I closed the door gently, letting the silence settle. For the first time all day, I felt something like peace.